All right, hello. Welcome everyone to the F1 Passport. This is our review of the British Grand Prix for 2020. Started out boring, but then it all blew up.
But it didn't start off completely boring. I mean, Hulkenberg got knocked out before he even got started.
So what's the deal with that? How's that even possible?
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. That dude's snake bitten or something. That's unacceptable. When is that? When's the last time that's happened? I don't remember that happening.
I don't recall that ever happening.
Yeah. Just I don't know. It's almost like, I don't know. It's almost like they didn't want that car to be driven, or they didn't want him driving it, or something. Like it was something else going on, and they just used a broken nut or whatever as an excuse.
Well, my conspiracy theory is that Hulkenberg would not agree to pull over for Stroll, wouldn't agree not to pass him because he damn sure would have passed him with the performance that Stroll put in this week.
Yeah.
And so they parked him, give him a week to think about whether he wants to agree to their demands.
Yeah. It's got to be something, man. Something. That's just that. I don't buy it. Screw going out and all that. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, those Racing Point. I mean, the Racing Point wasn't very fast, man. Not like we expected. Yeah, I thought they were gonna fly. Man, they looked. And maybe that's just Stroll. Maybe that's just his. Maybe this isn't his type of track. And we didn't get to see that comparison to Hulkenberg to somebody else, but.
That's my point. We don't really know because all we know is what Stroll could do with it. And I've got track audio or radio communications of him driving around the track and the team saying, use the energy button. And he says, I'm all out. And they said, no, you're full. Use the doggone energy button. So, I mean, it could be as simple as stupid shit like that.
Or he just didn't feel comfortable going any faster. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. It's that kind of, nepotism that breeds all kind of cancerous situations is the reason why it shouldn't happen. You wind up with Ivanka and Jared Trump's dumbasses up there selling products and looking like a deer stuck in the headlights.
Yeah, just surround yourself with the best people, man. Call it a day.
And dare I say, it's similar to, I love the Brits, man. We love our British cousins. But this whole monarchy thing is very similar. This whole gifted authority or based on bloodline.
It doesn't have a place in modern society, this whole monarchy thing. And they even trivialize it to an extent, but still just glorifying it is unnecessary to me.
Right.
And we glorify the hell out of it here in the U.S. too, like you would not believe.
And I turn the channel. I turn the channel every time I see that crap.
Yeah.
Anything to do with
it's annoying.
The British wedding. Chalk that up on the list of shit that I could give a fuck about.
I hear you, man.
Anyway, what else we got? What was there? What was the whole thing about the Martin Brundle bingo at the beginning of the race? You know what that was all about?
Martin Brundle bingo.
Yeah, I think it had something to do with his little cliches. Him being the cliche king.
I guess I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Was that during the build-up show?
And I think right at the beginning of the race, first part of the race, and during the race, they kept every time he said one of his little catchphrases, they would say that was one of his bingo moments. What about Lando's helmet? Could he be a nicer guy?
Yeah, I get it. That's cool.
Say again?
He could have picked the kid with a little bit better drawing ability, but I like the fact that it was it just really not that great looking. You know what I mean?
I
It's
thought,
unique.
yeah, that's what I thought was perfect about it. I mean, he'll from now on he's Lando Nori for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I mean, that was the best part of it. She couldn't fit the S at the ends. She put it down at the bottom.
yeah,
And the way she drew the car is like, this is what our new car looks like with the updates. You know,
yeah,
her pops, definitely let her. Most pops are gonna take their drawing and try and fix it up and whatnot, but he just
yeah,
let it ride.
yeah, yeah. My kids are all artists, so I'm used to critiquing children's artwork.
You used to
But
critiquing better looking shit though, right?
yeah, but that was still classic, though, man. I'm glad he went with. It's the kind of slow start but recovery, by Lewis in the first couple of turns. Um, and he was just off and flying. The thing, I guess, the big issue about this race is the tire failures, right? And then what caused it? Because you remember back, I think it was the 2013. They were saying was it 2013? The tires were failing around Silverstone.
I don't recall the actual year. I'll look it up and put it up on the
All right. Yeah, but Kimmy lost his front wing right around that same area of the track, and then all of a sudden the cars started hitting that area and losing their left fronts. And even Red Bull said that when they brought Max in and changed his tires right at the end of the race, his tire had like all these like 20, 30 some cuts in it.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, so I think there's enough there to be something more than just the G load, stressing those tires, and the fact that none of the drivers could saw it coming. They were reporting vibrations or whatever, but it was normal type vibration, and then there was no warning. It just boom, the tire just went.
Right.
I think there was some carbon fiber stuck in those curves somewhere.
Yeah, and that I think is the most likely suggestion. But the radio stuff, the radio communications, they were all kind of saying the same thing. Bodas came up and said that I'm getting vibration, and then it just boom, it just went, and none of them knew what was happening or why it happened. They were all perplexed by it, even signs, so if they had wear and tear on the tire, usually they speak about it and suggest we might want to get off these tires, or but it didn't seem like they had any of that.
Yeah, not only that, I mean the teams would notice it in their telemetry,
Right,
and they would call them in. So it was weird, man. It was really weird. And when the announcer got it wrong and said, "Oh, Lewis has lost his front," blah blah, and they had to backtrack. Oh no, that's Valtteri. That's Valtteri. I was like, dude, come on.
how many times have we experienced that where you come back from a commercial break, or you look down for a moment, look back up at the TV, and Lewis is stricken with something, and hampering, flopping around the track. But yeah, the first image of a black Mercedes, and they say, "Is that Lewis?" Oh no, it's Bottas. It's Bottas. Yeah. So then a couple minutes go by and they come back to Bottas again. They say, "Is that Lewis?" Oh my God! And here we go. Oh no, it's still Bottas.
And then, y'all need to get it right.
And then sure enough,
yeah,
last fucking lap of the race, I start holding my drink up in the air, and then this time it is Lewis.
This motherfucker comes limping his ass halfway around the damn track with Max storming like a madman. So what do you think about the decision for Red Bull to pit Max? You think it was the right call?
I think they shot off their nose to spite their face. They're trying to go for an extra point and gave up an extra 7 points. And then they're saying that, well, you know, you never know. It could anything could. Well, Botas had just had that fucking failure. Why wouldn't you at least? I think they need a risk slash reward manager. They need someone who can weigh risk versus reward for them to you know in making these decisions, because if that happens to Botas, I'm gonna start calling it Brotas. If that happens to Brotas, then you've got to consider the possibility of it happening to Lewis and give up the opportunity for that one single point.
I see it differently. I think they made the right decision, and Lewis's directors made the wrong decision, because from their perspective, they didn't want to be Botas. They didn't want to end up getting no points, right? And then with the way the first couple of races of the season went, they can't afford to not get points. They have to.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty sure their telemetry told them that there was a problem with that left front.
Nobody was telling them there was a problem. They thought they were fine.
Well, you saw that one graphic at the end where they said the left front for Lewis was at 10%. Like, so it was in the red.
Yeah, the AWS statistics. Everybody's hating on AWS and their little AI system. But this is a case where it hit it right on the mark. As soon as you saw that AWS at 10%, that's when it blew.
Yeah.
So
I think they made the right decision. I think Mercedes were dumb not to pit Lewis, especially after Max had pitted. Why take that chance? They should have brought him in. I don't care if it was the last lap. They should have brought him in.
So yeah, I mean, I see your point, but I think it still all goes back to risk versus reward, and I just wouldn't have pitted.
So risk versus reward, a guaranteed second, or you risk nothing at all. Feast or famine, right? You risk your possibility of winning or losing everything, like Botas.
Is the possibility of losing everything greater than the possibility of gaining more? You know, that's the rub.
In this scenario, I think it was because they needed those. They needed those points from the constructor's standpoint.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll buy it.
I'm not one to defend Red Bull, but I think they got it right, and I think Mercedes they weren't thinking right.
Yeah, I watched this YouTube channel that shows the best radio communications during the race.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of stuff about vibrations. You know, the vibrations getting worse. And then you got folks suggesting that there may be a tire issue for the next race because they're going to a softer compound. You know, should we revisit that? I'm like, no, just pit more often. You know.
Yeah, the only thing is that it becomes a safety issue. So I don't see them going to those softer tires. I see them sticking with this range that they had for this race. And then having more stops, like then having the 2-stop strategy.
I think they're going to chuck it up to debris on the track that was causing cuts, so it's not the tire's fault. They're going to go ahead and stick with the softer compounds because they want there to be 2 or even 3 stops to make the race more interesting. But we'll see.
Yeah. I'm agree to disagree with you on that one too, because that crash that was a Kvyat.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how much of an asshole he is, first of all, for pushing the camera out of his way?
Come on, man. I don't have a problem with that. I actually got a video of still image of that. I mean, that's what we want. We want that kind of attitude. We want that kind of raw emotion out of drivers, right?
Dude, there's no fans in the freaking at the track. Only way we can see anything is through the cameras, and you're knocking the camera out of the way. Like, come on, man.
That's a bad moment for him. And sometimes you just don't want the camera all up in your face. It's like, get out of my way, man. I'm trying to get.
That's like somebody famous saying they don't want to be famous anymore. Well, don't be famous then. Go live in Timbuktu somewhere. Give up your career. Give up all your millions of dollars. You know,
Yeah.
he's lucky to be there anyway. I'm getting mad at the camera. He's lucky the camera wants to look at his ass.
Yeah, no, I liked it, man. I like that kind of emotion. That's like Kimi screaming and hollering and cussing. Everybody loves that shit.
I'm not impressed with it, but anyway. But anyway, that was a bad crash, man. Like the G load sensors went off, and all of that. They don't want to have another crash like that. If they switch to these softer tires, they're doubling the chance of having those types of crashes. I think it would be irresponsible.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to see what the analysis will be on all those crashes and see if they were all similar. If they have the same kind of cut marks that the Red Bull had. Speaking of Red Bull, what'd you think about the incident between Albon and Magnussen?
Albon's fault all the way, and he's a hypocrite for saying that it wasn't his fault.
Touche.
Point blank. Did we learn anything from did he learn anything from the incidents that he had with Lewis? Like, come on.
Touche.
You dive in. It's not your corner. You got to back out and get out of the way. Now, I do feel like Magnussen
close the door.
Closed the door more than he should have.
Yeah.
But even still, Albon was behind. Therefore, it's Magnussen's corner. He can close the door if he wants to. He didn't do like your boy Grosjean, doing these double moves under braking and all that crap.
And that's a prime example of what we would be experiencing if we have reverse grids. You'd have assholes like Grosjean out in front of people and making dangerous moves to try and get the elbows out to keep people from passing them.
Yeah. That was a bad idea from the start. I'm glad you can go with that mess.
So I guess now Haas are just going to go against what every decision that the rest of the field makes or doesn't make. Haas is just going to go against it. That's their game plan for the rest of the season.
They have no other way of getting points, so they got to do something.
Yeah.
They ain't get no points on the track. But can you answer this for me? How was Grosjean the head of the drivers group? What's the group called?
The Drivers Association.
Yeah. How did he get that job?
He's he and Vettel are the co-chairman of the Drivers Association. I guess there was a vote and nobody else wanted the extra responsibility.
That's the only way I can think. He's one of those drivers that's lucky to be on the grid. That's like a soccer coach giving one of his bench players, the captain's armband.
Right.
No, he's never going to be on the field. Or he's not your strongest player, so nobody's going to listen to him. Like, come on, man.
Your boy Verstappen was really proud of his little jokey joke on the radio, telling his racing engineer to drink and stay hydrated.
Whatever, man.
He really thought that was funny. I saw about 3 or 4 interviews after the race, and he mentioned it in every single one of them.
Oh, he kept mentioning it.
Like it was just
he had a boring race up until the last couple of laps, so
yeah,
he had to do something to stay entertaining.
I like the final press conference too, when they asked Leclerc and Verstappen if they thought that there was a chance that anyone could defeat Lewis, and they both said no, there's no chance. We're in the race 4 of the season. They're saying no, there's no chance nobody's going to beat him.
Well, and that's the thing. It's not just this season; it's next season too. So,
right.
All you Lewis haters out there, I don't know what to tell you. It's gonna be a long year and a half for y'all.
Yeah, I know they want to stop watching, but they can't.
Yeah.
But I know they're sick and tired of seeing that or hearing.
Get in there, Lewis.
Get in there, Lewis. God, I know they hate hearing that mess. You know, they would
You know,
only
but
hate it worse if. Go ahead.
the difference between Lewis and Vettel is, Lewis has won everything for the last, 6, 7 years. If that had been Vettel and he won this last race, he'd be getting out doing his little crap and stuff anyway. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just like egging it on and making it even worse. You can see a little bit of remorse in Lewis's face. He enjoys winning, but he does feel a little bad about the spectacle, the racing spectacle, and how it's not what it should be.
Right.
Even though it's not his fault.
I apologize for everyone else, but I absolutely love it when he darts off to the front of the pack and just checks out. I don't mind enjoying the rest of the pack behind him as long as he's out in front and sealing the deal. And we got to enjoy this while we can.
Yeah.
I also like how he said he's going to stay in the sport for another at least 3 years because he doesn't see any minorities coming up behind him.
Yeah, that's a good point. He needs to stay in and keep putting in that work.
As if to say, put somebody into Formula 3 or Formula 2, a minority, a person of color, and I'll take my foot off y'all's necks. I might go off and start singing more duets with Christina Aguilera, or acting out scenes with Will Smith. Have you seen that?
Yeah, that wasn't too good. I mean, it was funny, but the acting wasn't all that great.
Yeah.
Will better sing as actor.
Will was overacting and Lewis was underacting.
Right. Yeah.
Have you heard that corny ass song that somebody made? It goes Lewis Hamilton. There's no stopping him now.
No, I ain't heard that mess.
I'll have to see if I can get it. It's funny. It's corny as hell, but.
Not just the difference between the two Ferraris. I think they chalked it up to the different wings, but I don't know, man. That's a huge difference. Like Vettel's car was undrivable, and here you got Leclerc up on the podium.
Yeah, Peter Winsor keeps saying that Vettel's driving style is to V a corner, to just break as late as possible into a corner, sharply turn, and V it, and he needs that high rate car with a blown diffuser that has a good rear end to facilitate that driving style, and he doesn't have that with the Ferrari. So his best attribute, just like Grosjean's best attribute, is braking late, and he doesn't have any brakes in that Haas. His greatest attribute is nullified.
Yeah. See, my favorite part of the pre-race was the side-by-side view of Lewis and Valtteri's qualifying laps.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I love that shit, dude. That was awesome. I mean, you could see the way that they go through their corners and where Lewis gained his speed, whereas Bottas kind of swings wider through his turns. And Lewis is just a little bit tighter the way he gets through them.
Okay.
I love that. I love that shit, man. That was awesome.
Okay. Yeah. I liked how they slowed it down and showed you the points on the track where there were lines, so you could clearly see the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I forget who that was doing it, but it's something that Karun would never be able to do. Something that interesting.
I also thought it was interesting. I heard someone say that they hypothesized whether the DAS system is what caused the Mercedes failures.
Only that it wasn't only a Mercedes failure. So I think that's pretty null and void.
I think their response was, we only use it, during slow laps or to warm up the tires, not as much so during the race.
Yeah, and that's just people trying to use any excuse to get rid of it by claiming it's unsafe. That's a nothing burger.
All right, let me see here. just in general, I mean, I wonder what it must feel like to be Lewis Hamilton right now, and to know that all you have to do is just do your job, right? You don't have to do anything exceptional. Just don't screw up, and you achieve greatness.
Yeah.
What a wonderful feeling that must be, and on the other side, a horrible feeling for the competition and people that don't like him.
I mean, it's still got to be terrifying from his perspective, though, because all the expectation is there and everything's there. You still got to make it happen. But man, yeah, it's the competition and the Lewis haters. Those are the ones I feel sorry for, because y'all just got to go along for the ride.
I mean, he's got a DNF cushion now. He could have a DNF and still have the championship lead.
Yeah, I call it a Corona cushion.
Right.
Yeah, you need that.
Well, shit. All right, man. Is that it?
Right. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right.
Still got to if Hulkenberg will be back next week, based on what you were saying, and they were also saying that there's a chance that Checo could possibly be back for that race.
No, I've heard it's not possible.
Not okay.
Per British policy that he can't come back, and I've heard the team confirm that Hulkenberg will be in the seat this weekend.
All right, let's see how bad he smacks Stroll around. I'm really curious to see that.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, man. Till next week. Yep.
All right.